I would like to officially announce that I am foregoing my final year of eligibility and declaring for the 2026 NFL Draft. Thursday, and welcome into the PHNX Sun Devils show, of course, presented by Branded Bills. Make sure you head to brandedbills.com and use that code PHNX for 15% off your first order. I'm Anthony Totri, joined as always by the Deli Man, making all of the magic happen. Do us a solid, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts. Of course, a ton of Sun Devil fans in the chat. Aaron, Lee Corso, Sharon, the Green M&M, Christian, Robert, Chris, the list goes on and on. We appreciate you guys being with us on this Thursday afternoon to talk about the Arizona State Sun Devils. Of course, two big-time players on the field and off the field will be going into the 2026 NFL Draft. We've actually got sound from Arizona State head coach Kenny Dillingham, specifically on one of those players that we'll get to a little bit later on in the show, how those players are going to be remembered, what they've meant to the program, and maybe a couple players that could step up now in the absence of these two Sun Devil stars. Before we get into any of that, I hate to have to report this to everybody. Arizona State volleyball, unfortunately, has been eliminated from the tournament, dropping 3-1 to Creighton. It was an absolutely remarkable season for J.J. Van Niel and company, but it proved to just be a little too much to handle from Creighton. Creighton, the number 3 seed, Arizona State, a 2 seed. Again, dropping 3-1. J.J. Van Niel, again, this feels like just a start for that program. Arizona State volleyball is going to be in great hands. It is in great hands, and it is a program that is just going to be an absolute machine, I think, for years to come. Hopefully we can get JJ back on the show here, hopefully in the next few weeks. I know we've had him on in the past, and he was great. So love to have him back on, continue to support that program, on social media and beyond, because it was one hell of a run in 2025. Of course, we know what that 2024 season as well, but definitely a tough team to run into in Creighton. But getting to Arizona State football, getting to two players now that, it's going to be weird. It's going to be weird not to see them on the roster. It's going to be weird not to see them in Arizona State Sparky helmets at Mountain America Stadium or on the road, with Dilly chatting it up with him on the sideline. And that is, of course, Arizona State wide receiver Jordyn Tyson and Arizona State safety Xavion Alford. Xavion Alford declaring for the draft via social media within the last hour. Somebody who didn't play in a Big 12 game this season, but a player who's meant so much to this program. And then Arizona State wide receiver Jordyn Tyson. That news broke last night per CBS Sports. Matt Zenitz, I believe, probably pronouncing that incorrectly. But Jordyn Tyson, somebody that is Zenitis.
I think it's just Zenitz.
Sure, Matt.
Yeah, there you go.
Somebody in Jordyn Tyson that has been just ridiculous to watch at Arizona State. He is going to be a top 10 pick in the 2026 NFL Draft. Just an absolute specimen of a wide receiver. I remember his freshman season at Colorado, and that was the year that it was almost like Jalen Conyers' breakout game. And we were here on the show, we're good friends with Conyers and Korn. So, there was an expectation looking at that game. Sean Aguano was calling the plays offensively. Trenton Bourguet was the quarterback. And you could see it. You could see offensively for Arizona State, Bourguet and Korn, and then like you'd watch Colorado, a bad team, one of the worst teams in the country at that point in time, and you're like, man, who is this kid? Who's this kid returning punts? Who's this kid just absolutely torching Arizona State? And of course, it was pre-Arizona State legend Jordyn Tyson, and you could tell then and there that he was going to be a special player. And, he dealt with that injury, obviously, at Colorado. There were some questions on how he would respond to it, if he would play again, and if he would it be to that level? And he came back hungry, somebody that I think you get the opportunity to talk to him, and you could just see how special of a talent he is on the field, off the field. Definitely, Shane, I think one of the most talented wide receivers to ever step foot in Tempe.
Yeah, well, that's without a doubt. I mean, I think he is cemented in the top 5.
Yeah,
of ASU wide receivers. It just sucks with the injuries because, like, statistically, you can't. He's not close. To career numbers, but season numbers. I mean, he was on pace to break the receiving record or the receptions record this year. Yeah, he's an unbelievable talent. That game, by the way, that you were talking about, just such a gross matchup. It was a 1-7 or 1-6 Colorado team against a 2-5 ASU team, and ASU won 42-34.
Yeah, really weird game all the way around.
Shrout was slinging it for.
Wow,
Colorado.
I forgot about that name. Completely forgot about.
There's no reason for you to remember that name.
No, but the name you obviously won't forget is Jordyn Tyson. Again, top 5. Green M&M says top 5 is tough. I think impactful. I think it evaluates how you discuss and how you argue top 5. What are the parameters? I think, again, when we talk about Kenny Dillingham and we talk about the evolution of this Arizona State football program and how it's changed, I think, again, and I tweeted it last night, like the end of an era. And it's the photo of Cam Scadaboo, Sam Levitt, and Jordyn Tyson on the lockers on the road, Kansas State, celebrating that win. And I know people have different feelings about, some of these players and their time at Arizona State and, how potentially it's going to be done at ASU, right? But I think specifically when you hone in on Tyson and what he's meant to this program in terms of elevating it, taking it to the next step. When was the last time Arizona State had a top 10 pick? Was it Terrell Suggs?
Probably.
Was that the last time that you had an Arizona State Sun Devil fall in the top 10 of the NFL draft? And again, I get that it's got to still happen, right? But that's where he's been projected. This Arizona State team doesn't win the Big 12 championship in 2024 if Jordyn Tyson's not on the roster. They just don't. This team doesn't win 8 games this season if Jordyn Tyson is not on the roster. It just doesn't happen, right? In terms of the pure talent, it's what he did. In terms of giving Sam Levitt a weapon in the passing game after losing Cam Scadaboo in 2024, it was a security blanket, right? This is somebody that changed the culture, like Christian said, completely changed the culture. It's been so cool to see the changes from sitting in half-empty stadiums in 2022 to a full season of sellouts. That's part of Tyson, Levitt, Alford, and Scad's legacy. 1,000%. You hit the nail on the head with that one. Not just on the field stuff, off the field stuff, Pat Tillman Foundation stuff as it relates to those sellouts. You have a top 10 pick. Jordyn Tyson, think about that. N'Keal Harry was a remarkable wide receiver at the college level. Remove how the NFL career went. Remarkable talent at the wide receiver position at Arizona State. Jalen Strong, a remarkable talent at the wide receiver position at Arizona State. Jalen Strong fell to the 3rd round? And that's not a knock on him, but I'm, again, just comparing the difference here, especially in those eras, right? N'Keal Harry, end of the 1st round guy. We're talking about somebody that is quite literally, there's a conversation for him to be the first player drafted at his position in the 2026 NFL draft. I can't think of a time in my lifetime where I was conscious and had thoughts where an Arizona State player, not just wide receiver, an Arizona State player was in that conversation. The NFL draft is going to come and go in April, and people are going to be talking about Jordyn Tyson. People are going to be talking about Arizona State. The Green M&M says, I got McDonald, Hagan, Nikhil, Strong, and Ayuk with JT at 6.
I have JT over Ayuk.
I do too.
But I think the other 4, yeah.
And I think when you talk about some of these players, again, I don't know how you view it. Like if you're talking top 5 as in talent, if you're talking top 5 as in career, like I think those parameters, I could see the argument. But I think in talent, I'm not sure there's ever been a better wide receiver to come through Arizona State. And I don't know how many of those wide receivers helped a team get to a Big 12 championship or just a conference championship and win it, right? And I get he didn't play in that game. I get he didn't play in the CFP game. But this dude has been nothing but the real deal all the way around. And I think, again, like you look at the players around him, and I know people obviously they talk Sam, they talk Scat as the trio. That wide receiver room has leaned on Jordyn Tyson since he got here. Think about the pressure on that kid. He came in. Elijah Badger was still the number 1 wide receiver at that point in time, right? Tyson didn't play, still rehabbing from his knee. Then you go back to the start of 2024, which is it's crazy to think about that this was the start of last year. Spring football last year, your wide receiver room was Elijah Badger as your wide receiver 1, and Jordyn Tyson was your wide receiver 2. Tyson stays, Badger hits the portal. Spring ball. Tyson has to step up, right? You lose Rashad Samples. Boom, we bring in Hines Ward, right? A match made in heaven. And I think, not to say that Tyson wouldn't have ever got to this point without Hines Ward, because I don't think that's true, but I think there was something that clicked. There was a switch when Hines got here and Tyson started to work with him. And you could just see the pedigree really start to shine. Somebody that isn't all about the flash. Somebody that isn't, I want to score 25 touchdowns and that's all I want to do. I want to score touchdowns. This is a team player. This is somebody that makes everybody around him better, and somebody that I think an NFL team is going to be really, really lucky to have when they do call his name in April. And I know it's really early to be talking about where he lands, who he goes to. I would be, as a Chargers fan, it's never going to happen. But I think the New York Giants, like, it would warm Arizona State fans' hearts to see Cam Skattebo and Jordyn Tyson in the same offense again. I think it would. And, like, this isn't an NFL show, but, like, let's spend 25 seconds thinking about what Jackson Dart, Cam Skattebo, Malik Neighbors, and Jordyn Tyson would look like on offense. Scary as hell. Just throwing that out there, not an NFL show. But if he's going to wind up anywhere in the top 10, which I'm sorry, the majority of those top 10 teams are hot ass, the Giants is not a bad place to go. Or if you want, and this is again, if you want to have maybe one of the scariest 1-2 punches in the NFL next year, you know where my total random I'd love to see it option is, Shane? The Los Angeles Rams. Devontae Adams, probably gone. Puka Nacua and Jordyn Tyson in that offense would be terrifying. It'd be terrifying for Cardinals fans. Absolutely terrifying for Cardinals fans to even think about that. But Jordyn Tyson, man, you can't say enough amazing things about him. We do have sound from Kenny Dillingham just on what he thinks of Jordyn Tyson, what an NFL team is going to get in Arizona State wide receiver Jordyn Tyson. We'll get to that. We're going to also talk about another guy who is set to be in that 2026 NFL draft on the other side of our first break. The college football regular season may be over, but that doesn't mean there aren't plenty of sporting events going on that you guys can watch at home and indulge with our friends over at Pure Edibles. Look, a big part of the reason why I love Pure Edibles gummies is because there are a bunch of gummies out there that taste like weed, and to be honest with you, they suck. That's not the case, though, when we're talking about our friends over at Pure. Their gummies, well, they taste like candy, and they got a bunch of different options for you guys. Pure, a full-fledged candy company offering gummies. They've got Kicks, which are their version of Starburst. I mean, who doesn't like Starburst? Chews, soft candies like caramel, and then hard candies as well. Pure effects are clearly listed on each tin, so you know exactly what effects you guys can expect. If you're somebody like me who wants to live with the uplifting effects, or maybe you're somebody that has trouble sleeping, make sure you check out Pure Edibles Sleep Support Gummies as well. Make sure you go find yourself some Pure Edibles products from one of the over 130 dispensaries across Arizona. Look, there are a bunch of partners here at PHNX that are trying to help you save money. Well, Arizona Lottery, they're trying to help you make money with their holiday scratchers. That's right. 'Tis the season for over $80 million in prizes. I'll say it one more time for all of you that are hard of hearing. Over $80 million in prizes. Play holiday tickets from the Arizona Lottery for the chance to fill your stocking with cash. Of course, there are 6 festive scratchers to choose from, including Cash Countdown, which has prizes up to $250,000 in candy cane cash, which, well, smells just like peppermint. If you're anything like me, well, then you're still trying to find gifts for everybody in the family and friends. And for people that maybe they're tough to buy for, well, try those Arizona Lottery holiday scratchers. And, of course, love the play and spread holiday cheer with holiday scratchers from the Arizona Lottery. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, drop a 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts. Look, before we get back into the conversation as it relates to JT and others, Leah putting it in the chat, everything is already terrifying for Cardinals fans. Well, we got something that's not terrifying. It's actually quite fun for Arizona Cardinals fans, and that is, of course, a PHNX Cardinals watch party over at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Make sure you join Bo, Johnny, and the rest of the PHNX Cardinals crew for the ultimate Cardinals away game watch parties at Gila River Resorts and Casinos Wild Horse Pass. The event obviously features live pre, half, and post-game PHNX Cardinal shows, food, drink specials, PHNX giveaways. The vibes, immaculate. Now, the next watch party is this weekend, Sunday, December 14th at 11 a.m. as the Cardinals take on the Houston Texans. RSVP for our Cardinals away game watch parties at gophnx.com/events. Fear to Fork Nation says, thank you. Been saying my Rams would go after Tyson. Yeah, we had this, Shane and I just had this conversation because he was bringing up the Seahawks, and I reminded him that the Rams actually have the Atlanta Falcons pick because the Falcons traded up in the back half of last year's draft. So the Rams have a really good pick and a really good team. So just throwing that out there. But getting back to Jordyn Tyson at Arizona State, you obviously talk about what he did on the field. Like statistically, let's go ahead and take a look as to what JT meant to this offense and meant to Arizona State. His career at ASU, 136 receptions, 1,812 receiving yards, 18 touchdowns in 21 games with a yards per game at 86.3. Somebody that every single game that this man was healthy for, you had to game plan for. And I think 5 years from now, it's already kind of crazy to think about to discuss, man, Jordyn Tyson and Cam Skattebo were in the same offense with Sam Levitt at quarterback. Like, that's going to be something that's talked about 5 years from now. And you're like, wow, this team was ridiculous. Maybe the greatest trio at Arizona State offensively that, this program has seen in 10, 15 years. It's ridiculous. I think, again, you look at what Jordyn Tyson could have been this season, because I think that's part of the conversation of, like, where does Jordyn Tyson fall in Arizona State grades, specifically at wide receiver. People are like, well, he didn't have all the numbers. How can you be top 5 if you're not, if you don't hold a record? Jordyn Tyson would have destroyed the single season records at Arizona State if he had played the entirety of this season. Even in an offense that struggled, he would have smashed the record. He would have smashed the reception record, destroyed the receiving yard record, and certainly scored the most touchdowns by a wide receiver in a single season by an Arizona State player. It's just facts. It's what would have happened had he had stayed healthy. And of course, there's the what ifs, right? It's the truth. And you saw that talent, I think, every single time that JT was out there. And Kenny Dillingham was asked post-practice today about Jordyn Tyson declaring for the draft. And he started it off saying that, he, out of respect for JT, he didn't want to say too much about it because he hadn't seen Tyson actually post something about it. But a little bit later on, he actually got into what Tyson has meant to this program.
He's an unbelievable person, unbelievable player. He's a special, special person. We spoke for 15 minutes last night. Just on the phone. And he's such a great kid. I couldn't be happier for somebody to go achieve success in this game than him.
Somebody who did it without being I think the craziest vocal leader, right? And I think that's stands out for me too. I think the only time, and it's the only time that I'm aware of it. I'm sure there were other times that JT really went out of his way to be the vocal leader is Colorado. This year's Colorado game. And I get Colorado, as a team, wasn't anything. But for somebody that had been dealing with injuries for a month, right, coming back from the hamstring. And, of course, all the talk almost every week was is Jordyn going to play? Is Sam going to play? Is Jordyn going to play? Is Sam going to play? And then, of course, you get to the point of okay, Jordyn Tyson is going to play against his former team. And all week long, that's all anybody wants to talk about is Jordyn Tyson's coming back. Top 10 pick is finally coming back after a month. And for him to, prior to that game, speak to the team, tell Dilly, hey, I want to say a few words to the guys, and say, this isn't about me. This is about us. Somebody that could have easily hung it up midway through the season after that Texas Tech game, after the first time he really snagged that hammy. Could have hung it up. Could have called it a college career. And let's be honest, Shane, nobody would have said anything about it. We would have been totally understand. Your whole future is ahead of you. And for him to push, to come back, play the way that he did, have the energy, the effort, the mentality that he did, whatever NFL team gets him is going to have a remarkable talent and a remarkable person. I think as well, somebody that is going to be a really, really special wide receiver at the next level. Genuinely. And I'm pumped to see wherever he goes, as long as he stays out of the AFC West. And, of course, Cardinals fans, hopefully he stays out of the NFC West as well. Tyson, though, not the only impactful Arizona State Sun Devil that is going to be headed to that 2026 NFL draft. Within the last hour or so, Xavion Alford, Arizona State safety, 100-yard landlord, also declaring for the 2026 NFL draft. Somebody that, man, you talk about a college career. I don't know if there is anybody, Shane, that has had a wild ride the way that Xavion Alford has had in college.
Yep. Texas, USC, ASU, with just a litany of conversations with the NCAA.
Yeah.
Please let me play.
Somebody that I believe, if he wanted to, could have come back one more year.
Yeah.
This is already an older player, right? You mentioned the schools that he's coming from. The way that this season went, didn't get to play in a Big 12 game. Somebody that was a, preseason, all-conference type of player. Somebody last year that, if I'm not mistaken, was an all-conference safety. Can you double-check on that for me, Shane? I think he was an all-conference safety last year for Arizona State. The impact for him on the field was obviously massive. Right, to have him and Ghost Rouser back there was just ridiculous. I believed it, and I still to this day believe that if he was healthy, that we would have been talking about the best safety duo.
Yeah, he was first team last year.
Best safety duo in the Big 12, right? And seeing what Boogie Wilson was, maybe the best safety trio in the Big 12. Things didn't go the way that he wanted them to go, and players get injured all the time. They miss the season, whatever. And then you don't see him. You may see him at games. You may see him from time to time at practice. Xavion Alford, pretty much from the moment that he went down and not practicing, was still at practice. Was still at practice seemingly every single day, working with the safeties, working with the DBs. Somebody that on game day didn't wait till right when the game started to come out. Somebody that pregame was working with those DBs. I remember being out there for pretty much every single game on the sideline pregame. Hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours prior to kickoff. Xavion Alford, Montana Warren. Just going back and forth. X coaching up Montana. X coaching up some of these DBs. And then when it was time for actual pregame, we're talking half hour, 40 minutes prior, and they're running the drills on the field, the DBs. Who's out there throwing the ball? Throwing the ball to the DBs as a participant. Xavion Alford. Like, I mean, I'm not sure if there is anybody more about the team than Xavion Alford. And the reason why I think this season for me, when I think about X and, 100-yard landlord, that's tough, is this is somebody that opted to come back, right? He could have entered the draft last year. I had people telling me that at the scouting combine, there were actual NFL scouts asking why did Xavion Alford go back to college? Why didn't he come out? He could have gone pro last year. And I think the injury, obviously this year not playing, I'm interested to see how much it impacts his draft stock. But I tweeted out, I think somebody is going to get an absolute gem of a player. Again, a little bit older in the grand scheme of going from college to the league. But somebody that the impact on the field, off the field, in the locker room is just going to be remarkable. You can't even measure it, right? And again, somebody who, when we talk about Tyson and we talk about Xavion Alford and you talk about some of these other players, right, that Dilly went and got in that first portal cycle, really. And I believe Tyson wasn't the first fall portal cycle. I want to say Tyson was maybe in the spring. I could be wrong on that. But that, like, needed they needed somebody. They needed somebody to be like, yeah, we believe in you, right? And again, not to say that they wouldn't have had success at another place, but Tyson coming off the knee, Alford dealing with situations at Texas and SC, and for Dilly to be like, yo, you're going to have every opportunity here you want to compete, to earn the spot. And two players that when you think about it, and we talk about them going down as like two ASU greats in recent memory. And I think there's a different conversation about Tyson in X, right? Like statistically, et cetera, whatever you want to say. I have covered Arizona State for a long time, going back to Todd Graham. And I'm thinking about the leaders on the teams. And I am not sure that there has ever been somebody in the Arizona State locker room that has commanded it the way that Xavion Alford has.
Gravity.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what he does, Wes Beasy in chat, that dude is a leader of men. Ray Lewis type of locker room effect. Yeah. 1,000%.
We've heard his pregame speeches.
Yeah. Giving pregame speeches every game last year.
Yeah.
Even times this year giving pregame speeches, right? Like, that's not, you got to think about what we're talking about here. We're talking about 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old young men, kids. And you got to get up in front of your coaches. You got to get up in front of 80 other kids your age, young men your age, getting ready for a battle. Because that's what it is. People don't understand it. That have never played the sport don't understand it. And I haven't played the sport, obviously, at this level, right? You're dealing with, for 60 minutes, minor car crashes every 20 seconds. Think about that. Going full speed. And Xavion Alford's job as that safety, two things. I'm the last line of defense. And the other, I'm going to take your head off. That's your job as a safety. In pregame, after all the struggles that he's been through, everything from every school, to be like, you know what, coach? I want the responsibility of giving that pregame speech, of telling everybody and getting everybody juiced and amped for the game. And you saw what it did in 2024. You saw the way that this team came out the gate. And again, I can't speak to it because I wasn't there, wasn't in the locker rooms. I don't know who gave every speech. And I don't want to put it on like, oh, the speech is why they came out flat. Because I think that's ridiculous, right? I don't think it's a coincidence that in 2025, this team struggled to start games. And then in 2024, this was a team that felt like a freight train coming at you in the first quarter of games. Think about how they started the 2024 season. Cyrus Fiaseu pick 6 to start the year. And they just absolutely bounced Wyoming on their head. How they started the Kansas State game with an interception. How they started the Iowa State game for the Big 12 championship. And think about who, again, was that last voice that they heard in that locker room before that, before starting all those things. Again, I don't think it's a coincidence. I think Xavion Alford had that level of impact on these Arizona State players. Somebody that is, again, one of, and I mean this 1,000%, one of the nicest, most genuine leaders of men that I have ever had the pleasure of talking to and covering throughout my time covering college football, not just Arizona State. Somebody that, again, a team is going to get an absolute gem of a player. Look, we're going to continue talking about 100-Yard Landlord and, of course, Jordyn Tyson on the other side of this quick break. Look, I know this 2025 college football regular season, well, it's been an exhausting one, right? It's been a roller coaster, ups and downs. And again, if you're anything like me, then you're ready for a staycation. And that's why our friends over at Gila River Resorts and Casinos is the perfect spot to be this weekend, next, and in the future, because you can check out any of their locations. We're talking the Wild Horse Pass, Equiva, Santan Mountain, Lone Butte, for the best experience that the Valley has to offer. And the thing I love most about our friends over at Gila River Resorts and Casinos is they've got something for everybody, right? There are families out there, there are groups of friends, and everybody kind of wants to do something different. If you want to go have a nice steak dinner, well, you could do that. If you want to hang out by the pool or the jacuzzi, you could do that. If you want to make money, you could do that on the gaming floor, or if you want to watch and catch the games at one of their sports books, well, you could do that too. But for everybody that goes to Gila River Resorts and Casinos, there is one thing you have to remember, and of course, that's you do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Make sure you visit playatgila.com for more details. I don't know about you guys, but when it comes to the holidays, specifically Christmas and New Year's Eve, well, there are a couple of traditions. Of course, everybody stays up to midnight. My family, when it comes to Christmas, we're all opening gifts the moment we wake up on Christmas morning. And you know what amplifies that Christmas holiday spirit? Well, of course, it's our friends over at Smirnoff. Look, on December 21st at State Farm Stadium, Smirnoff is going to be giving fans the chance to try their exciting signature serves featuring the spicy tamarind. This will include a collaboration with Squirt, plus a game day specific opponent themed drink. So, of course, if you're an Arizona Cardinals fan, well, you probably want to drink. Not only will they be serving up those exclusive signature serves, but they're going to be working out of the colorful customized Smirnoff spicy tamarind truck. So if you'll be cheering on the Cardinals in person against the Atlanta Falcons on December 21st, don't forget to stop by and see our friends at the Smirnoff truck. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button again. Wherever you get your podcast, drop a 5-star review. We appreciate everybody stopping by so far on a Thursday to talk about two legendary Arizona State Sun Devils. If you guys have any specific moments that you guys can remember watching these two players, you know, at Arizona State through their time here, please throw it in the chat. I'd love to read off what you guys feel like were some of your favorite moments watching X and watching JT. Shane, for you, both on the field and then also like in person, because X is somebody that we've had in studio now a couple of times, you know, just to talk about the team, the culture, etc. What stood out to you most, you think, on the field and then off the field about a guy like Xavion Alford?
I mean, I think both on and off the field was the way he just carried himself. Never too high, never too low. Yeah. Always about the next thing, never about the past, never about the future, just what's right in front of him. Yeah, he and physical traits, I mean, the dude just flew around. Like he was. I don't understand how he's not going to make a roster. I don't see a world where he's not going to make a roster in the NFL. Like he's got so much talent. He's just got to stay healthy.
Yeah. I think that's something that like people are going to be concerned about the injuries, but I think
which sucks that two of the guys that declared for the draft today and yesterday that's their biggest knock.
But I think again, that's like when you talk to them, when they test, and when you get them out on the field, like these are two players that again, like I had mentioned earlier, with just coming to Arizona State, like Tyson off the knee, Alford hadn't played in a while, and it was like you need an opportunity, right? And in Tempe, Arizona was their opportunity, and we see what they did with that opportunity. So like again, there's no questions about where Tyson's gonna go, right? In the first round, top 10 guy.
Yeah.
I think Xavion Alford is the type of player where it's like all he needs is just one player or one team to take that chance on him.
Yeah.
To give him that opportunity, and he's going to make the most.
And we've said this about CJ. I mean, talk about a guy who's going to test well mentally.
Yeah.
Like he's such an impressive guy. So I'm not. Yeah. I think he's gonna. I still think he gets drafted.
Yeah. Where do you think he falls?
I think he's a day 3 guy, but I think he gets drafted.
Yeah. Which again, someone's gonna get so lucky.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna have a back end safety that does the things that he does, and I think it's just gonna be. It's gonna be a perfect.
You know who he reminds me of? Completely different position, a completely different player. Oh, what was his name? He was my favorite. Darian Butler.
The
linebacker.
Wow.
Dude, Darian Butler was like my favorite player on this ASU defense 4 years ago.
Yeah, it was a while ago. He was a Raider, right?
Yep, he was a Raider for a bit. Antonio Pierce gave him some playing time.
Yeah.
I don't think he's on a roster anymore, but I thought his career was totally going to pan out.
Yeah. I think Alford's career does.
Well, I think Alford's got more physical traits than Darian Butler.
Darian Butler was a little bit of a smaller linebacker, I feel like.
Yeah, well, yeah, he just wasn't super fast, but
Yeah.
his instincts, his mentals were so good.
Yeah,
he was so sharp.
Like you say, I think Alford's going to test well. He is one of those players that is like ultra smart when it comes to the game. He's got a high football IQ, and I think part of that is obviously how long he's been in college football.
Yeah.
But this is somebody that every Arizona State practice, again, you got to remember going the last 2 years, like going up against Cam Scattaboo, right? Going up against Sam Levitt in this defense, or this offense, going up against JT, somebody that has been tested in the secondary. Chris says their favorite was Tyson's one-handed catch touchdown. Which one, honestly? Like, I feel like there was more than one. And then the Green M&M says X has Steeler written all over him. He low-key kind of does. He does kind of have Steeler written all over him. That could be fun. That could be a lot of fun. Again, I'm biased. I'd love to see these two guys as a Cardinal or as a Charger. I just don't, unfortunately. I don't think that's where they'll end up. But like, again, whichever NFL team gets these guys is getting an absolute dog, offensively, defensively. And I think, again, like, we can only put it so many ways. But like Doug Tamero, for example, right? Somebody who's been at Arizona State, I mean, since the dawn of time, right? And he tweeted, quote retweeting Xavion Alford's post, saying one of the best leaders we have had in any of our programs. Like, thinking about how many teams and players and coaches that Doug Tamero has been around over his time at ASU.
Yeah, old head.
Yeah, I mean, Unk for sure.
Unk.
And Xavion Alford being one of the best. Like, it's incredible. I selfishly wish that he would have come back one more year at ASU just to have like a different way. Like, it was a crappy year to end for everybody, right? Sam's obviously out. Tyson's out.
Your 3 best players were hurt most of the year.
Your 4 probably best players with Ben Coleman, right? Like, in theory, at least there's an argument for like 4 of your top 6.
Yeah.
Right, because I think your best 6, not in any particular order, were Jordan, CJ, Keith, Ben, Sam, and X, right? And 4 of those guys missed significant time this season. And like, I think the worst part, right, is, again, Alford didn't even get to play in a Big 12 game this year.
Yeah.
Like, imagine the impact. This defense was already legit this season. And I get, like, Boogie stepped up, did a phenomenal job. You know what he had with Ghost. But, like, just trying to picture what it could have looked like if Xavion Alford was healthy, was out there, the impact that he would have had, not just like, again, on the field, but like sideline, right? Of like what he does, the plays that he makes and how they fire up his teammates. So like that sucks that's kind of going to be the final thing that you remember. I think his final game played, was it not? Did he play against Texas State?
I don't
Or was his final game?
I hope that wasn't the last play he played.
No, I think his final game was Mississippi State. Was
really?
the
last play of the game?
Well, falling, yeah. I think that might. I don't know if he played against Texas State. I don't know.
Let me get
see if he recorded
for you.
I hope he did. I hope to God that he played against Texas State, so that
also some of the best drip on field on the team.
Easily best nickname ever.
Damn, Mississippi State was the last game.
Brutal, yeah. Bancheezy says it was Mississippi State, and we know how that went, right? Set him on a blitz, feet get tied up, goes down. That's tough. Absolutely brutal.
If that doesn't tell you what the season was.
Yeah. Well, I mean, even JT, right? To like work your way back, and then the last memory you have of Jordyn Tyson in an Arizona State uniform is Arizona, where he retweaks his hammy.
Mm-hmm. Robert saying the K-State game sticks out for me for Tyson. After that game, our run felt possible.
Yeah, I mean, not just for Tyson. Think about Xavion Alford in that game too.
Yeah.
Right? Like we can literally go back and take a look at what that was like.
I got it in front of me. He had 5 total tackles in that game and a pick.
And it was the pick
and a pass
to start the game.
Yeah.
Right? Like in Tyson had 12 catches for $176 and 2 touchdowns in that game. This was on the road against the number 16 team in the country to keep your hopes of anything. And I guess at this point, nobody really thought, like, everyone's like, oh my God, Arizona State, great story, right? But no one was like, oh,
well, you hadn't beat anybody yet. You beat Utah, but Utah was not good.
Yeah. But they were ranked at the time.
Yeah.
But like nobody was thinking of Arizona State as like, doing what they did in 2024 until this game. Kansas State, I want to say, coming off a bye too for their homecoming in that game.
I watched that game at a sushi restaurant. It was on like a jumbotron.
Eric and I did a watch along.
Yeah.
For that game. Like it was, to this day, I think it is one of my favorite ASU games that we've covered and done a show for. We did a watch along for that. We did Green M&M. Arizona State broke K-State. 1,000%. Sent their coach into retirement. Sent their program into the gutter.
Turned Avery Johnson to a Division III quarterback.
Into the future starting quarterback for the Penn State Nittany Lions.
No. He's not getting there. He's going to go down.
I don't think he's going down. I think someone is going to give him stupid money.
No.
Yeah.
He's stupid.
Someone's going to give him stupid money.
He'd be very dumb.
Avery Johnson, the next quarterback for the USC Trojans.
No. He's a Cowboy.
A Dallas Cowboy?
No.
An Oklahoma State Cowboy?
Oh.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, again, just 2 players that are going to live on in Arizona State history, I think, for a ridiculous amount of time. And again, like, you can only, as an Arizona State fan, be excited to see where they land. Neither one of them obviously going to play in the bowl game. So you've seen him suit up for the last time at Arizona State. I hope we can get Alford on one more time.
I'm sure we can
before the draft. I think we'll get the opportunity to talk to Tyson here potentially Friday, maybe or actually no practice tomorrow, so maybe a little bit later on.
Green M saying, I heard the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley needs a quarterback.
How did you just rip that?
UTRGV?
Yeah, you just know that.
Yeah, they're notorious.
Acronym.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah.
You're a sick man, Daily Man.
You'd be like University of Tennessee, Richards, Green.
Yeah. Okay. Sure.
Virginia.
Lee says, "Would you guys take Avery Johnson?" I would not. No, I would not.
Take him where? Like to the store? Sure.
I wouldn't even take him to the store.
Wow.
What do you think he wants at the store?
Do you think he sheds?
Yes, I think he sheds 1,000%. Look, guys, we're going to wrap up today's episode after we take our final break. Look, Of course, with the holiday season comes holiday shopping and procrastinating and trying to find the best gift for that perfect someone in your life. Whether that is a significant other, a family member, or etc., or a frames, well, they've got the perfect gift just for you. Of course, you guys spend all year long capturing great memories, moments, videos, photos, and well, Aura Frames, they've got the perfect frame for you guys and for everybody at home so that you guys can remember those moments all year long. I personally have an Aura frame at my house. It's great. It's constantly running all of the photos, cycling through. Once you set it up and you upload the photos, honestly, you never really have to touch it. It is just going all the time on its own. You guys can, of course, preload the photos. It's unlimited. You can have as many photos in there and videos as you want. And for a limited time, save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $35 off Aura's best-selling Carver mat frames, named #1 by Wirecutter by using that promo code PHNX at checkout. Again, that's AURA frames.com, promo code PHNX. This deal is exclusive to listeners and frames sell out fast, so order yours now to get it in time for the holidays. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Look, there are a few things in life that you need and, of course, that you want. Well, there's only a few that are needs and wants. Thanks to our friends over at Mountain America Credit Union. Well, they got something you need in your life and you should absolutely want, and that is their My Style checking account. And a big reason why is, well, because when it comes to checking accounts, why not have one that has built-in perks and built-in benefits just for you? And if that's not enough, Mountain America Credit Union going the extra mile to support local student athletes, providing $20,000 in scholarships to those local student athletes each year. Mountain America, dedicated to guiding members and communities forward. Make sure you learn more at macu.com/ASU, insured by NCUA. Terms, conditions, and exclusions apply. Loans on approved credit. Shane, so with a couple of Arizona State legends in Jordyn Tyson and Xavion Alford gone, headed to the league, the question is not who's going to replace them on the field, but who's going to maybe replace the leadership in the locker room, at practice, in meeting rooms. Are there any players you look to immediately that we've spoken to that you can kind of see how they interact on the field, where it's like, okay, these players could potentially be up next?
Kyson.
Yeah, I think that's certainly an option.
He's been here. He'll be here in 4 years.
Yeah.
Next year. Eusebio. Another guy that'll have been here 4 years, right? Or if there's 3?
This will be 3.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
WBW gonna be special. Defensively, if Fight comes back, he would be the leader.
Yeah, he would be the guy.
Boogie. I think Boogie is just X with bigger shoulders. God, Boogie's good, man.
Boogie is good.
That linebacker room's gonna be interesting though, man.
Yeah.
I mean, all signs point to your guy.
Martell Hughes.
Yeah, Martell Hughes.
Yeah.
Ooh, Montana Warren.
Yeah, that's where I was going to go.
Nice.
Montana is somebody that, again, I brought it up when talking about X, that was like always working with, they were just always working with each other. Pre-game, practices, these two, like, that's what you want to see in a player, right? Where somebody can identify, hey, this player is the best at what he does off the field, on the field. I want to be around him. I want to be near him. I want to understand, like, I want to think the way he thinks. And I think
is that why you always follow me?
Huh?
Is that why you always walk around and follow me?
I mean, yeah. Come on. I think that's why Montana's the easy choice for me. Again, somebody that's been here a while. You think about the players that he came in with that he's potentially losing around him, potentially CJ, potentially Keith, X. I certainly see a world where Montana, especially if they kick him back to safety, I think it would be, it makes too much sense for me. I think Martell Hughes is another very interesting one. Somebody who is younger, that I think you are going to be looking for these guys to step up in a vocal way. So I could certainly see Montana doing that on the defensive side of the ball. The offensive side of the ball is a really interesting one because you are losing just about everybody that's been here. I like the Kyson shout here. Depending on the decision that he ultimately has to make prior to January 2nd with whether or not he's going to come back or not. Offensively, I think, again, like you talk about Derek Eusebio. I think Jalen Moss is an interesting one, somebody who's more of like a veteran in college football that could potentially do that as well.
Yeah, but we can't have a leader that shifts in and out of reality.
He exists.
He does, but just sometimes.
Just sometimes. I don't know.
Schrodinger's wide receiver. When you're not, when the box is closed, he's not there.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe Dyer too. Cam Dyer maybe stepping up.
If Jalen Moss falls, but no one's around to hear him, does he make a sound?
You're a bad man. You're a bad guy. Machiavelli in the chat. Totri and Ruby should receive a trophy for their interview with Coleman. It was gold standard. Bravo. I don't know if we deserve a trophy, but appreciate that, Machiavelli. If you haven't seen that interview, check it out on the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. I got the pleasure of chatting it up with Arizona State offensive lineman Ben Coleman.
Talk about a leader.
Yeah, about him coming back from his injuries, his time at ASU, and then talking about Sam Leavitt hitting the portal. And had to speak about him as a teammate. I think that was certainly something worth watching. It was a lot of fun to do. So highly recommend, if you haven't seen that, to go check that out.
What about special teams?
Nothing. Got nada for you.
Maybe they should recruit a punter that's also like a motivational speaker in the portal. Because
what do you think Tony Robbins has in terms of eligibility left?
Probably none.
You don't think so?
No.
Also, don't know about his flexibility.
Yeah.
Like with a leg.
He's pretty stiff.
Yeah. Machiavelli, appreciate you, man. Look, guys, that is going to do it for today's episode of the PHNX Sun Devil Show. Again, hit that like button. Hit the subscribe button on your way out. Shane loves you. I love you more. Wow. We, of course, will see you on Friday. So make sure you guys are here. Back to our original 1 p.m. start times for Friday. So super excited to be here again talking about the Arizona State Sun Devils. If you want to follow along on social with all things going on Arizona State, make sure you give the show a follow at PHNX_Sun Devils. You can follow me at Anthony_Totri. You can follow the Deli Man at Shane Deef.
Leading as always.
And we will see you guys on Friday. In the meantime, go Devils. Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.